You never know.
You never know what's going to happen in game 2. So let's go into that and find out what's going to happen here. SoaR versus Denial one more time here. SoaR will take first pick this time.
And both these teams have actually played the same amount of games on each side. You know, 6 Order, 6 Chaos, and now it's going to be 7 and 7 with, I think it was only, you said, Eager, who's actually been the only team that's been very committed to one side.
Very dominant over in the Chaos side. I believe it's 10 out of 12 games.
That's crazy.
Which is quite surprising there. Lost on both sides too, though. SoaR will have the first option and got to bat away Sol this game. They're not going to take it for themselves either, but want to make sure that Vetium doesn't get it either.
Obviously, Vetium is a North American hunter, and all of them have just very deep god pools. You never want to give anything that they're going to be very lane dominant with. And I mean, you saw it last game where Metyankey died twice in 5 or 6 minutes and was absolutely fine because it's just so hard to lock down Sol and zone her out.
At the same time, you're never going to first pick Sol at the moment, especially with how many things are available. But you will in the second team.
And that's what we saw last game as well. SoaR picking it up after the Thor first pick. Bans coming out here. Fafnir still banned away by SoaR. Denial going to focus on this Nemesis. And the question is, do they want to give Jigz Terra? And that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying here. I mean, it's got to be a first pick Terra. We've just seen SoaR and other players and teams dominate duos so aggressively with it.
So we do see Terra, but what I want to see at Denial now, they have to take Jing away. You don't want to give SoaR that combo. We've seen it once.
You got to strip it away.
Destroyed. You can't give him again.
And it also limits your god pool when you give up a Jingwei Terra, because any god that doesn't have a movement ability in lane just dies. And if Denial watched the enemy versus SoaR games, they're going to know this, because Panda Cat picked Freya and he got farmed. Instead, though, it's going to be Raijin, Susano, who are, I would say, very safe mid-jungle combo more than anything.
Have the ability to really go off in the mid lane, though, and control the game, and I think that's what they really need to do. Homiefe got off to a good start last game.
It's a lot of CC and setup.
Apart from Homie dying for that first blood, it could have been so much better that game if he didn't die going under the tower.
I would say Homiefe was probably the key there for SoaR's win, where they just... SoaR was so good at abusing just any hammer throw, right? We saw the hammer throw at the Gold Fury where he was forced ult away because he knew he would die. We saw the hammer throw at the speed buff where they kind of just waited around like, Homiefe, commit to your speed buff. They didn't even really need to steal it away, but the second that hammer comes out, they knew they had to kill.
Well, andinster is going to lock in Thor again, so quite a few walls going to be in this game, that's for sure, at least from the side of SoaR. And their final pick before the countdown phase, they've got a lot of options for themselves. They didn't want to put Snoopy safe.
There it is.
No, there's the Jing away.
And this limits Vetium's option here. Not going to really be able to go into a Chronos. Denial, though, getting the Ravana this time, and I like this pick because that's what we saw andinster focus on so much in the early game, was shutting down Benji, getting Baskin on this Ravana ahead when he already had a dominating matchup. Now it's going to be a little bit harder for andinster to do that.
What do you think about Jingwei mid? In this composition with Snoopy in mid as well.
That's a very good point.
That's interesting,
because that also leaves open the Chronos for Metyankey or the Freya, which we've seen. And that's the thing about SoaR. This is a very ambiguous pick. You don't really know if that is for Met.
I think we've only seen Jingwei once in a Shadow Nightmare that played on the side of Dignitas, but I think she could go mid with this composition setup in the mid lane. Could control quite a lot.
And they'll probably save that to, what are Denial going to pick here? They've got the first pick in the second phase of the draft. Are they going to pick their hunter here or their support? I kind of expect it to be a Bacchus, unless SoaR ban this away.
It's got to be a Bacchus ban.
I mean, that's all Shadowq's played. Bacchus is so good in the meta right now.
Denial have played Bacchus 11 times. This will be number 12 now. Unless something changes.
Instead, banning away the Athena, and I think that's okay in this scenario. If you decide to run the Terra Jingwei combo, one of the best things that you can do as an Athena is taunt the Terra instantly so she can't get that guaranteed CC combo.
Well, it's also, you quite happy to go against a Bacchus as a Jingwei anyway. You get hit by the flop, you've got agility to immediately reposition yourself. It's not effective against Jingwei.
Also, Susano has a little bit of a knock-up too, so something you have to kind of worry about.
Just to add to that, Bacchus against Terra is not great either, because Terra doesn't get knocked up if she's got monoliths down. Not a great matchup for Bacchus. It's Agni and some Wukong for SoaR, so it won't be Jingwei mid. It will be Snoopy going back to Agni, who's played it once so far this split. So just showing it off again. Agni's
starting to come back into the meta, and this is a pretty heavy CC between Thor and Agni. Very similar to Susano, Raijin, where I think they have a lot of lockdown potential and the more you see CCs or really high damaging abilities in the early game is where I think people with better mechanics shine, because you can combo your CCs, you can instantly burst someone when they're not expecting it. And both of these mid-jungle synergies, I think, have that tendency to try and set up and outplay. I think both of these guys are looking to outplay each other.
I think they both can as well. I think the one thing you mentioned there about Agni coming back in, I don't think it's going to be for too long right now, especially with these reinforced Greaves being available. Obviously, double dots coming out from the side of SoaR here, which means reinforced Greaves, if you Denial, is a very, very tempting option.
You want to know, like, what super old school? Agni with tank boots.
tank boots.
You actually, I'm talking before you even knew what Smite was, Hindu. 2012 is that Agnis would run tank boots in the mid lane.
Okay, what's the reason?
They were just way too tanky to deal with. And because their clear was so strong that they didn't need magical damage boots to finish it off.
I mean, hang on. You're talking about really old school? Well, really old school. His Path of Flames had CC immunity too, okay?
Hey,
so back in the day, Agni was...
His stun
OP.
was also 2 seconds, not one.
It was 2 seconds?
It was 2.
Yeah, let's
That
go
was
all the way
brutal.
back. Yeah? Might as well just bring up old Guan Yu then.
No, never
No?
again.
Never again?
Never. No, don't. You guys think Nemesis was strong when she came out, right? You think Bologna was strong.
Well,
you guys have never played with release Guan Yu.
Now, Snoopy's starting off with Soulstone here as well. Now, this is a very risk-reward thing to do on an Agni of all things, too. I like that Monolith placement, though. Ooh, tasty. No, I'm surprised he actually went Monolith, but that's going to keep him fully sustained. Anyway, going back to Agni. Soulstone allows him to double proc his passive, technically, for more damage, as well as the dot damage that comes off of that. But at the same time, makes you very, very squishy because you don't have that extra health from Vampiric Shroud.
And that's why you see him go Tiny Trinket. It's not a ton of Magical Lifesteal, and Magical Lifesteal isn't that effective, but it's just enough sometimes. Snoopy's going to dash forward here, and he's going to try and kill these melee minions with his basics so he can line up Hurriwind for the Flame Wave. That's the strongest part about Agni. Even though he's incredibly weak, if you can't hit level 2 fast enough, he's very strong at poking people out.
And clear the minions and the melee minions there. Those extra hits will bring it down using the 2, and this is great control.
Man, like, it's so amazing watching, like, high-level players just min-max their clear. Right there, andinster gets very low, and he uses his final hammer. Even though he'll get more damage and clear the camps faster by double-tapping them, just make sure that the single tap will finish them off, and then he can teleport to his hammer to get faster speed over to the left Harpies.
Now, Shadowq's expecting to take a lot of poke here. That's why you see him actually using the belly flop very early in the wave, trying to push out the lane a little bit more endure. But
he might be dead.
By doing that curse actually going to help him to stay alive just about. Denial were forced out heavily on that right side.
I'm really surprised that Denial gave up the Xingwei Terra combo. This is something that I think is going to change a lot of players' views on picks and bans when in regards to duo pressure.
Fight in the jungle here, a lot of pressure there onto andinster, who ate a lot of poke, but the wall's going to stop him for a second with that Thunder Crash, followed by Homiefe coming in with a cleanup. 1-0 the way of Denial. Once again, Homiefe gets first blood.
Was the hammer down? I mean, I'm assuming I know we just tuned into there, but the hammer had to have been down. Also, no purification coming out of andinster. I think he just thought he was going to be safe. He didn't expect kind of that mass amount of chain CC. Really well played from Hurriwind and Homiefe.
Now you saw SoaR there for a second. Baskin and Benji both switching it up this game. Last time around it was Benji on the Wukong and Baskin on the Ravana. Not this time.
This time Benji going to have a little bit better of a time in lane, although I think last time we tuned into the lane in game 1, I think Baskin was a little bit further ahead than Benji is now.
And the control
ever so slightly
from the dual lane of SoaR. So when we look at how this game's actually going so far, Benji's solo lane controlling it against Wukong early. Duo lane is in SoaR's favor. And mid lane, from what we can tell, well, it looked like it was in SoaR's favor to begin with, but that kill may have just changed the balance.
A lot of that is because Agni has very low pressure, obviously. Early game wants to focus on his dash, and look at that.
Double Thunder Crash as well as the drums of war from Hurriwind. I did not expect to kill that quick.
The bait was absolutely beautiful, and no hesitation from Denial as well. Homiefe immediately ults, followed up by the Thunder Crash from Hurriwind to keep them in place, which means Homiefe had an easier time connecting that. He chases in as well, does Stormcloud. It's just too much burst in the early game. You took the entirety of a Susano and Raijin's kit to your face.
Yeah, that was an amazing play as well. That Thunder Crash coming out as well, though, from Hurriwind allowed that Typhoon to actually connect.
It's just like a slight mez. It's not a stun, but sometimes it delays you just barely enough that you can't react in time.
Well, now they're going to allow them a little bit more pressure once more in the mid lane. Speed buffs have respawned here, but you can see SoaR Gaming, they're the ones looking to pressure onto the speed buff once more, trying to continue the pace of last game.
And that's because the double ults are down. They don't have to worry about Homiefe or Hurriwind for about 90 seconds, or they feel confident in taking a fight against them and being at least able to outtrade, even if they can't secure a kill.
Well, left-hand side as well. Good work from Denial not to actually give up any kills so far in this dangerous lane, but they may lose their red buff because of it, and that's
Denial don't want to give this up for free, though. You can actually see both the mid and dual lanes kind of coming into this right now. Red buff will be secured by SoaR, but Snoopy's in a lot of trouble.
However, Andis is there to support, going to force Homiefe back. Metyankey and Jigz there, the bombs over the wall. Going to force a Thunder Crash out from Hurriwind. Good little poke damage coming out. SoaR fall back, and Shadowq's flop was down there, so they're not going to be able to find anything more on either team.
Snoopy probably has his life saved there by andinster. Now, it would have been a little bit risky, I think, for Denial to chase into those mid Harpies with the rest of SoaR right around the corner, but Snoopy in that situation had almost nothing to survive that that's how it ended up.
A little bit of contest around those Ray and Harpies, but nobody bite off too much more. The speed buffs both still stand. That's how much aggression was on that red buff on the left-hand side there. That did go the way of Metyankey there. It was stolen in the end.
The best thing right now for Homiefe is, in comparison from Game 1 to Game 2, is Game 1, he got first blood, but he died for it, which means that his jungle was stripped away. Also, we know Denial stole away the red buff, but Homiefe wasn't involved in that. And we saw him start to get a little bit behind in experience. I think it was level 10 to 12. This time, Homiefe gets a kill, and he's able to keep up the pressure because it was in mid lane. He didn't have any of his jungle stripped, and now andinster doesn't have these options to go, okay, Homiefe got a kill in my duo, now I can focus on the right-hand side. This time, he's still got to worry about Homiefe in his face.
And not only that, but Benji did get the blue buff again on the right-hand side there with the help of Homiefe. So buffs ended up being evened out between the two. The gold lead, however, all Denial's favor. And it's a pretty decent amount as well when you think about everything going even in terms of invasion camps. The control camps in the middle lane, though, different story.
Yeah,
First blood.
I mean, that's kind of been going both ways, but Denial doing a really good job of keeping up the pressure. And you can see Homiefe and Hurriwind aren't really scared to go aggressive on Snoopy. We actually see them try and bait out Snoopy's dash a lot, where they'll wait around the corner. And that's what happened when he died earlier in the mid, or when andinster died earlier in the mid and Snoopy almost died, where they're just like, they want Snoopy to use his escape and mobility because they can chase him down. The Agni bomb's not hurting a lot right now. He's gone into boots too, doesn't have any penetration online, although he is probably going to back and finish those up.
Yeah, they were looking for a pick on the corner there. And they're actually going to look for Jigz now instead, and Jigz will get stunned there before he can get away with the
body
dash.
blocks too.
Going to force the curse as well, but the drums are denying him going anywhere. Jigz taken off the map. Homiefe credited with the kill.
The CC chain from this Denial core is just too much to match right now. They had trouble dealing with only the Raijin and the Susano. Now they have to deal with the Intoxicate and the knockup from Shadowq as well. Denial heading straight to the Gold Fury off that pick. No Terra to stop them. And there's a wave in the left, so Metyankey's not able to position himself, but it's all a bait again.
And they're looking for the pick onto andinster here, but the bombs from Snoopy are causing Homiefe a bit of trouble there. Gonna force him out as well, and now the boys of SoaR fall back. Now, though, still control the Gold Fury pit, but they don't have ultimates to really secure.
They could have actually looked for the Gold Fury there. Snoopy committing every single one of his bombs, but instead wanting to play it safe. They know what happened last time. They got the Gold Fury and immediately were stripped of the rest of their jungle. This time, they're going to play it a little bit safer. They're probably not going to look to try and force too many opportunities. They're giving a lot of respect to SoaR, which you have to.
I mean, they're giving them respect, but at the same time, they're not falling back. They're finding kills, too. That pick on Jigz there, for example, in the mid lane, was a nice freebie that they found for themselves.
You're going to likely have to see Snoopy start picking up some sentry wards to start controlling the vision on these mid camps, because that's where Denial are setting up most of their attempted ganks and kills, is they just kind of hang around as a group and then just do knock up, taunt, stun, pull back, knock up again with, you know, the ultimate coming out of Homiefe.
Well, I was going to be interested to see exactly what happened with boots on the mid laners for the most part here. Maybe a few more shoes of focus.
I didn't actually think he would do it.
No, I thought we may see some more shoes of focus, though. Especially because it did get a bit of a change. This patch, extra bit of power on it. However, that's a lot of pressure on Baskin. He gets up his cloud just in time.
That was so close. And Denial still giving him respect, not trying to dance with the mid. You could see Jigz, Snoopy, and andinster waiting around there, but still Denial. These mid Harpies are the scariest point for SoaR. They need to ward them up. They need to be the ones with the vision. You can see the mid lane ward coming out from Denial, so they know anytime someone from SoaR is in that mid lane and rotates either left or right, they're going to have it telegraphed.
They do seem to be looking, though, towards Metyankey this game a little bit more, I want to say. He's been given a little bit more of these red buffs in the jungle as well, and he's a little bit further ahead in terms of gold up against Vetium so far. That could be their big carry potential point, is this Jing Wei.
Benji stealing away this blue buff in the meantime now. And now it's going to be full aggression from Denial. They're doing exactly what SoaR did to them, pressuring into this speed buff. They might be trying to bait a fight, but instead just backing off. They don't feel confident right now. And a lot of that due to Metyankey actually backing in front of Vetium, and SoaR pulled him back so he could use his passive to get to mid just in case there was a team fight.
I think also Shadowq's ult being down there just didn't allow them to really initiate any more. They were worried about not having enough burst to bring anyone down, and Jigz' ultimate being available as well. Terra's Blessing, very, very useful, not just for mobility, but it does give a heal and no cost of mana.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, Agni's already doesn't cost mana, so Agni did it first, but still. And
yeah,
Snoopy going for Sanctuary in this early game. We didn't really talk about that, but Denial haven't really exploited that. They've actually focused more on killing andinster. I mean, with how well they chain CC people with Purification, you would expect them to go a little bit more aggressive on Snoopy, because they could kill him before he gets a single ability off, right? The knockup from Bacchus, the mez from Raijin, then into his ultimate with the taunt. Homiefe gets the pull as well. Like, there is guaranteed 100-0 lockdown on Snoopy before level 12.
There is, but at the same time, I mean, even if he uses his dash,
But then you commit everything.
Stun. I mean, he could stun. He could use the Sanctuary and then follow it with his own stun to save himself with the bombs potentially and keep himself alive by going the Sanctuary.
Also, you don't always want to invest everything into one player against a team like SoaR, because you know their rotations are going to be there, especially with Jing going to be able to rotate into the jungle very quickly, someone you always have to worry about.
Cheeky little wall from Jigz there. One thing about that as well, though, those walls coming out from Jigz, they do combine nicely with the Agni for max range bombs, because Agni's got the range to be able to hit at the same range as that.
Yeah, I mean, Snoopy and Metyankey are set up by andinster brilliantly, and Terra. There's so much setup for the Agni and the Jing to get off their abilities, and the Jing is probably the most devastating. Agni's just damage, so you can Sanctuary or Purify it, but the knock-up from Jing just disrupts so much in a team fight, especially in those smaller areas around Gold Fury, which is one of the reasons Denial haven't really looked for that opportunity yet, because you have to worry about Jing in that small, tight corridor, as well as the Agni bombs while grouped up, and the global presence from Thor.
Well, Denial here as well. You can see Homiefe has gone Jotuns again this game, just like he did last game when he was playing Thor before the Void Shield overall here. So he likes the extra penetration coming out from that and the cooldown reduction too. However, Shadowq in the corner thinking about going in, but Andy has an idea something going on.
Jigz was the first around the corner, and actually, we're going to see a root from Jigz there, just trying to clear the wave. No intention of actually fighting. Homiefe
took a lot of poke
finds
there
Baskin in the jungle, and he's taking, I think, more poke than he wanted. Great wall by andinster there, making it hard.
Flop onto 2, however, and an Intoxicate 2. Going to force out Snoopy. Jigz still standing tall, though, up against the opposition. Going to go back in his Jigz with a double dash for a second.
That was brutal.
But now he may get turned on.
andinster's in the sky as well, but he's not going to be coming
Jigz
down. It's going to be trouble for Jigz. Over the wall, Hurriwind finds the taunt, and the last shot down as well. Ram takes to the sky, just trying to get extra damage off Denial. Grouped up here, they've killed one. Snoopy a little bit low health as well, so they might be able to siege something up or invade, and the call is an invade here onto the red.
Yeah, the red's up at the Speedbus about to spawn, but the call to the red is a much better idea for themselves. Take something from that win on Jigz. I don't know why Jigz double dash there. Very strange.
Well, it's not that the double dash was bad if SoaR had wanted the fight. The issue is he double dashed while the rest of his team was retreating. So there goes all his mobility. I almost want to think that he called to fight or just kind of went in expecting other people to follow up.
Well, you thought you could get out as well after
possibly
potentially there. But in the end, 4-0 now. Denial. Still no Gold Furies down so far in this one. Bit of a different situation than the last game, though, as it's been all Denial making the tactical decisions.
And they're not really forcing a lot after they get those picks. They'll steal a buff, they'll steal a board, they'll get an extra wave, and that might be something that they'll come to regret later on, because last game, SoaR not only got kills, but then they just took everything, and they just kept taking more and more and more and more and more and more, and Denial didn't really respond. This time, Denial has the lead, but they're not taking a lot, and so they're allowing SoaR to stay relatively close into this game.
Well, Jigz in the mid lane this time on the support. Obviously, he's going for the same build again with the reinforced Greaves into Vanguard, into Hide of the Urchin. Shadowq, though, switched it up again. Spirit's Robe after the reinforced Greaves here instead.
And that's mostly because of Bacchus' playstyle. He likes to go in and absorb a lot of... He just goes in, gets his kit off, and then it's fine because the fight's probably going to end by the time the next belly flops up, so he wants a lot of just immediate reduced damage, which is Spirit's Robe. Anytime you're CC, you're getting 10% damage reduced, as well as giving you that all protections. It gives you 40 of each, so now you have more of a varied build to deal with whatever damage SoaR wants to put out onto you.
Denial is starting to feel a little bit more confident now. Going to pull the Gold Fury with this lead they've got for themselves. Metyankey, Jigz, and Snoopy all recognize what's going on, and andinster is on Thor and rotating over, but the engagement's already going on. Shadowq going to force out Snoopy for a second. There's Vetium going to get some poke off as well.
Not going to be enough. Just going to be shy, even if he connects the last shot. But here comes andinster looking for 2, and Homiefe is absolutely deleted at the start of the fight.
And the drums, though, coming out from Hurriwind, going to put andinster in trouble, who will jump away to his hammer. Snoopy gets a stun off onto Hurriwind, who sanctuaries nicely, but the gust coming out from Jing puts Hurriwind in trouble. In the sky at the moment is Baskin in the cloud, coming back down onto Vetium, and Vetium is forced out. Jingu, bang! Dead.
Everyone's getting knocked up here, and now everyone's chasing these very low targets. Snoopy trying to get away. Benji's going to be able to pick him up, but andinster's cleaning up the rest of Denial in the meantime. Metyankey still wants to fight. He dashes forward. He might regret this decision, but he gets help from the rest of his team. Trying to juke out right now, and Benji not going to be able to finish him off. Going to be forced to ult away, just trying to stay alive.
Baskin can continue to chase, though, as well here. And the gust from Metyankey, they're trying to close the gap with the agility. Not going to be able to find it, but Baskin may be able to. No. Transformation denied by the root.
Let's talk about the gust. Denial do not want to take fights in small, closed corridors right now, because not only do you have to worry about Snoopy's bombs zoning you out, but Jigz, he found a 3-man route, and that one, it was just a single spot there, right next to the boars. You can see where Agni is right now on your mini-map, just puts the gust there. And Denial, you saw people trying to come into the fight and people trying to get away, just constantly the knock-up. And it was so disrupting for them, they couldn't really get coordinated and focus down an individual target.
Completely true. And the one thing about that gust as well is that if your team walks through, they don't get knocked up, but they can use it as a defensive mechanism as well.
They can just stand in it.
They can stand in it, like, come and hit me, and if you do, you're going to get blown up in the air.
Man, Gust is so good. It is such just all around a great ability, because not only, like you said, do you have those defensive capabilities where people really can't chase you through it, but then you could use it yourself as a Jing way to reposition yourself with an extra length on the dash.
Well, there was no real thing stolen in the jungle there from either team, but that team fight goes the way of SoaR because of that. Bit of shutdown bonus coming out there, which allows the goal to start to dip back in favor of SoaR.
And that was unfortunate. Denial full committed there. They found the single knockup. Obviously, Shadowq hitting Jigz as well, but he's going to be immune to knockups in that scenario. And we could see aggression here. Homiefe always 3 got body blocked.
And on top of that, you can give chase with the blessing too. Jigz wants to go in. Andinster in this guy, I should say. Looking for the dunk, the double tap.
Sanctuary. Better taunt.
Taunted out by Hurriwind, but now Hurriwind in the focus. Snoopy credit for the kill. Benji takes out Jigz, however, and then Andy falls too. It's 2 kills to win Denial, and they're looking for more.
Snoopy trying to run away right now, but 3 levels ahead. Benji, great stun from Baskin. Better body blocks, but Benji still wants this kill. Dash finally comes up for Snoopy, but waiting around the corner is Shadowq. Benji finally gets the last hit. Baskin might turn this around, but he's just lacking the damage.
This is a beautiful fight. I think Baskin could still kill Benji here, and I don't think Shadowq can really stop this one. He's going to use the cloud early on, as the meditate was used there as well by Benji to keep himself standing. It's going to force them back. His mid lane, however, Denial are going to force a tier 1 tower off the back of that engagement.
Honestly, Baskin keeping 2 people on the right-hand side was probably the best option for SoaR, because they can't open up an opportunity for Gold Fury. Denial do get a couple kills, but only a tier 1 off of it.
And left-hand side, though, I think Metyankey might be able to answer back here. He's got enough minions. He will take a tier 1 tower in response, but that fight was very, very good for Denial, especially coming off the back of the last mistake of an engagement.
Ooh, Baskin here trying to keep his own blue. Benji doing everything he can to stop it, and Baskin gets his blue buff, but he might pay with his life. Meditation going to be helping him out for a little bit here. Same with andinster and the rest of the team rotating in.
Benji has no ultimate available just yet, but SoaR Gaming don't want to take a fight with him. Instead, they're going to go back to farming here. You can see andinster only level 14 with the support of Jigz will not be able to bring down that solo laner 2v1.
They're a little bit too tanky right now, and a lot of that's because just look at the levels. Both solo laners level 17. Everyone else on the map outside of the hunters, 15, 13, 12, you know, another 12, like there's such a large gap because the solo laners have been farming up so much without being in the team fights, while there's been so much aggression between everyone else, so they've been poked out a lot, they've all had to back, and so solo laners actually have the biggest power spike in this game.
Interesting trade there going on in the duo lane. Nobody actually hit each other there, but you can see the explosive pulse was popped by Yankee, ready to take it. Vetium happy enough just to walk away for now as Metyankey goes back to farming, but look at the grouping up. The Gold Fury still a threat for both these teams.
Neither team really has an edge into doing this right now. Denial don't have a guaranteed secure. They have Hurriwind's ultimate, but it's 4 ticks, right? It's a lot of damage, but it's spread out. It's not one burst. And so they're a little bit hesitant, I think, to commit to the Gold Fury without picking off either andinster or Jigz or even Snoopy. They don't want to stay grouped for those bombs.
It's surprised how much damage Metyankey's done in the engagement so far. 4.4k on that Hunter. At the same time, he's not really done anything. No. Overall, look at Vetium. Vetium's rotated all the time and has less player damage than him. Very strange.
I mean, I think we've mostly seen his snipes, and Vetium is very safe and calculating in his positioning. I think you said it, we were talking earlier. Vetium probably has the best positioning of any player in the SPL. Barracuda, you know, names like that are up there as well, but he doesn't ever really put himself in a spot where he dies. Obviously, he's been picked off once this game, but that was more that very extended awkward team fight.
Flop in one more time, but Jigz ignores it
twice.
with a passive one more time. Just dropping the walls down for himself. Now setting the heal, he can just sit there quite happily. Very, very good reactions.
That's twice. Last time we saw that happen was at that Gold Fury fight, and they were able to get Snoopy as well. The main issue is they committed the raw ult, didn't have the damage, and so were able to turn it on them. This time, though, they're not recognizing they don't want to dump their entire kit into a Terra, who also didn't get knocked up.
And this is the issue that Bacchus is going to have against the Terra, let alone the Jing as well. Just makes it a little bit more difficult to try and set up a pick with that engage.
I mean, also andinster, right? Berserker's Barrage, immune to knockups here. Denial still feel very confident. Snoopy's dash has been baited out, but it doesn't seem like Denial want to commit too hard right now into a tier 2.
But they're going to look for a speed buff instead, Denial, and they will strip that one away. However, right-hand side, Baskin, he's going to be able to tread down this tier 1 a little bit more at the moment. He's got a full minion wave coming in, but he's got to respect there could be a rotation coming from
He doesn't really see everyone on the map right now. Homiefe was still in the jungle, and SoaR likely called that at the very least Benji was rotating in. Just play it safe. Don't risk anything here. Experience dead even, 19 separating them. 1,000 gold at 19 minutes, it means nothing. It really means nothing. You're looking at the difference in levels, most notably the solo laners to the mid laners. Both Benji and Baskin are going to be focusing on taking out their respective mid laners. They're so far ahead of them right now that just their base damage crushes them.
Well, 20 minutes in the game as well, approaching 20 minutes now. Completely different story to last game, because SoaR had kind of run away from it at this point. Denial, though, still in control of this game, and it's all about this next goal.
And they haven't really been forcing a lot. They've been giving a lot of respect to SoaR, and so SoaR able to snowball their kills into more objectives. Denial not able to do the same. And a lot of that, I think, is down to Denial don't want to do anything too risky. I think they feel very confident in, if this game goes late, that they can win 5v5.
Well, this is not going to find the dunk there onto Vetium, who will just roll away back to safety. And as I'm looking towards the mid to late game stages, I don't think Vetium really has an overall advantage here. It's very balanced.
I mean, you look at CCs, everyone's got a ton of CC across there. There's a lot of AoE damage as well. I'd say SoaR's is a little bit lacking. Obviously, Homiefe, Shadowq, and Hurriwind, they just do a lot of big circle damage, whereas outside of the Agni bombs, you don't really see that from SoaR.
Well, andinster did just use his ultimate. I don't think they recognized Denial were doing the Gold Fury off this, and they're going to get a Gold Fury for free there. Recognizing andinster's ult was down, just realizing they could just go aggressive, and no one on the side of SoaR knew what was going on.
And later, obviously, the game goes, the more the Gold Fury is worth, it scales up, and so 20 minutes in, that's a decent bump right now. Right? I think the big question is, can Denial finish any big items and then utilize them to force a fight? That's the question. But actually, Vetium's behind.
They've not gone back yet just yet. They're looking for the blue buff on the right-hand side instead here, and actually a little bit of pressure onto Baskin under the tower.
He has no
Doesn't
ult.
have his ultimate either, and that Typhoon connects means World of Hurt. Shadowq gets the kill, however, and now they're double walled in. Benji, the focus target here, low on mana. The bombs dropping from Snoopy too. Great meditate coming out though, just to deny that. Now the turnaround is here.
Hurriwind's here as well, and honestly, Denial should be pushing in, but they're too worried about Jigz around the back. One more hit. Hurriwind finds Snoopy, and the rest of Denial trying to escape. Hurriwind might have dove a little bit too deep, and the rest of his team is not actually even coming to help him out right now.
Purification will stop him getting stunned, but Metyankey gets the kill with a fast, hot rotation. Now he's going to try and give chase, but no abilities yet. He could airstrike if he wants to help close the gap a little bit more, but over the wall goes Denial. Shadowq gets away.
andinster very close to locking Metyankey on the right side of that wall. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen there, and Hurriwind going way too deep. He got the kill onto Snoopy, but he still actually, he exited down the tower instead of the top of the tower. Homiefe should be fine here. But he doesn't recognize Jigz around the corner.
But can they get there in time is a real issue there.
His dash is down, that's it.
He's going to get the wall, and now Andy's wrapping around. If Hobie goes right, wall misses. Okay. I was like, that could have been close.
I mean, it's lockdown versus mobility. Both teams pretty close there. Well, I mean, if he intercepts that Storm Kata with the wall.
That's true.
I still think Homiefe makes it out. It's close.
It would have been close. But Baskin just used his teleport there to that left-hand side as well. And
no. It would have been fine because Homiefe got stunned by crushing Earth, which means the stun would have been a lot weaker. It would have been DR'd. And I don't think andinster has it maxed out. I think he maxed out his hammer, then his Berserker's Barrage. So it's still rank 4, but that would have been DR'd.
Okay. 10-5, Denial still lead this game after the Gold Fury as well. Experience is relatively even, though, I want to say, between these two teams. Slightly favouring Denial, as you'd expect, considering they do have the gold lead as well. As Baskin is basically boxing Benji, and Benji's having a whale of a time so far.
Both the solo laners here very close to 20. Same with the Hunters. It's just been the mids that have been really having a hard time. Both mids have not had the best games because...
I think Hurriwind did a fantastic engage on Snoopy. He actually hesitated on the Thunder Crash just to make sure the Sanctuary wasn't absorbed.
But he hasn't been able to farm efficiently because he's been the primary focus. You can see actually taking three of the deaths, or out of SoaR's 5 kills, he's taken 3 deaths. So he is the main target for them, trying to get that Raijin out of the fight as early as possible.
Well, they get right-hand tier 1 tower. Left-hand side here, Vetium is going to get a free tier 1 tower on the left as well. This map opens up in Denial's favor a little bit more now. All 3 tier 1 towers are now down.
It took Denial a little bit longer to start the snowball, but they feel very confident in their team comp right now. Homiefe doing a great job of engaging, getting poke damage off, disengaging, and then coming back in. And then Hurriwind, Shadowq, you've seen them two combined primarily for the kills. Shadowq jumps in, and Hurriwind, zero hesitation. He will always follow up, and just having that trust is very important, right? Because even though Hurriwind maybe went a little bit too aggressive on the right-hand side, still, Shadowq was able to press into that tower knowing that there would be no hesitation from his mid.
Well, it's going to come down to one major team fight now, and I guess it's going to be around the Fire Giant, if anything else, between these two teams. Just mainly because of the amount of CC both of these two teams have. Slightly favourable to SoaR, just because Bacchus can't really get as many flops off as he'd like to. But to be fair to Shadowq, he's had a very good game so far, 1-0-6.
He's been a part of most of the kills, obviously. 7 out of 10, just set up a lot. Same with Homiefe, 3-1-6. He has been really, I wouldn't say, carrying this team, but he's been the primary source of engage for Denial. Looking at player damage, he's sitting there second right now to Benji.
Could be a bit of an attack on the right-hand side here, because you can see I pushed up SoaR, Baskin, and andinster looking at tier 1, and Benji, well, he's going to meet Baskin first of all, and Homiefe going to close the gap on him too, but not going to pull him in instead. Homiefe, he's too far forward, and now the rotation from Jigz is here too, but he's going to Sanctuary away from the slow and make sure he doesn't get hit by the walls either.
Great Sanctuary. A little bit surprised there. Jigz not finding that stun. Very rare to see him miss, but SoaR responding immediately to Denial's aggression. They know they can't lose another team fight.
I actually think he did hit that wall, but the Purification and Sanctuary were both burned at the same time.
Oh, I thought he'd only burned Sanctuary.
Yeah, me too, but I just saw that and I was like, okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, because I saw it, I was like, all I saw was the Sanctuary. I'm like, how did that... I was like, it looked like it was in range, but okay, he burned the Sanctuary, or the Purification as well.
So then that kind of goes in SoaR's favor, knowing that the jungler hasn't got any relics for the next
2 minutes
amount of time. Yeah.
And Gold Fury is about to spawn, and that's the big thing. And now Denial are a little bit more hesitant to force this. I don't think SoaR will force it. I think they'd rather respond with a Thor Agni ult, just coming down top when Denial's all grouped. However, Denial more than likely looking to bait a fight.
Well, I don't even think SoaR know what's going on around the Gold Fury, because look at this, Denial already in position, already started it up. However,
they didn't know what they wanted to do.
We do see Agni rotating to the left now, as well as Metyankey on
Seen
the
this
Jigz.
before.
But there we go, engagement.
Ooh, the jump forward here, and I think Snoopy just able to reset success. That was a little bit awkward there.
That was awkward, because they flopped in, but everybody walked away at the same time as back in mid lane. Benji was still keeping the other two very busy.
And we actually saw it here, as we could see aggression in the mid. Homiefe going very aggressive. andinster tries to hammer out. Baskin in a lot of trouble, but here comes Jigz.
I don't think so. Those bombs raining down from Snoopy did a lot of way to Homiefe, but they re-engage from andinster, gets turned on, but Metyankey takes out Homiefe. No escape without relics. Yankee gets a double kill, and Yankee may still be going in for a triple here. Vetium's under pressure here. Airstrike gets me 3, and I'm looking at Shadow 2. He flops away, but Jigz and the boys, the gust and the agility, closes the gap, looking for 4. Will this be a quadra, or will scumbag Baskin take it? No, not today. Yankee, quadra kill.
He tried to steal the kill away earlier. Not going to happen there. I mean, I loved what Homiefe did. The second andinster ults down in the team fight, immediately the knockup from Typhoon connects, but the issue was andinster still had all of his relics available. We talked about the relics being important here. Benji, I mean, it's going to be a deicide, but nothing he can do in that scenario.
Don't get overexcited, chat. That was not a pentacle. It was a delay pentacle. Unofficial, if you want to call it that.
Doesn't count.
Fantastic play. And this is what I was saying. I felt like when I looked at this team here, they were kind of looking at Jing going off this game of Dallas, and that's what's happened all of a sudden.
Just Metyankey opens it up, right? He was just left untouched, and SoaR, they knew the relics were down on Homiefe. That was their main target. Snoopy dumps his entire kit into him. andinster comes down as well, and as SoaR push forward, Homiefe just has no response. Even though he has a ton of mobility, the team fight and just all the AoE damage going off around him, he gets picked up, and then it's one at a time. Metyankey just sits there and holds left click. Right, and everything was just lined up for him. He's got crit online as well. He just finished Deathbringer. He had rage in that last fight. His explosive bolts crushing through the team, and just that extra little Fatalis effect.
And that works out so well for SoaR now as well. However, they still do not have the gold lead, believe it or not, after that last little engagement. They do, however,
have a Fire Giant.
Have a Fire Giant and the Experience lead now.
I gotta go with the Fire Giant here. Experience lead, not as critical. Most of the key players have hit level 20. The only main difference is andinster and Homiefe right now. And then the mid somehow lagging equal. They're actually equal to their supports. You don't see that too often.
No, not really, but they have been pressured, as you've been saying over and over here, as now Yankee gonna try and get the tower, but has to respect the flop in that came from Shadowq. Immediately repositioned as Yankee. I think it's wise to follow him right now after getting a quadra. I think that's where Denial's focus need to be in this next fight.
SoaR just playing it very safe. Just like they did last game. They're not pressing in. There's no issue right now. They have Fire Giant, which means a poke war is in their favor. Not only do they have Agni bombs, which are going to be repeatedly coming up, but they have the Terra Terra hears the Terra ults as well, and SoaR might be looking for a fight. You can see Benji pushing forward, and andinster comes down as well. Snoopy's already taken out Hurry.
Yes, Hurriwind, and the bombs rain down some more. Benji now under pressure too, but a good tornado from Homiefe will not help him out. Yankee goes all the way to the back with the airstrike to pick up one, and he gets himself a second. andinster as well takes out Homiefe. Deicide, Denial are dead. Denial slipped 2-0. SoaR Gaming within 3 minutes, I want to say, has turned the game.
2 fights is all it took. Denial, they got really far ahead early in the kill department, but they weren't really able to open up the map, strip away objectives or jungles, and so SoaR kind of just hung in. They were about 2K apart. Then the snuck goal, I wouldn't say snuck, the pretty free Gold Fury goes for Denial, about a 4K lead. But then all it came down to was a small engagement on the right that seemed like it was non-consequential, but Homiefe burns both relics, and then SoaR immediately used that to force a fight on him in mid. He dies, and then Denial were just a little bit too grouped. They had lost the guy who had been so critical to their engagements in the early game at the start of their late game engagement, and then just SoaR able to find all 5 kills. Then they find another one as Denial try and make a last stand at their Phoenix.
Well, as you saw on the screen there as well, that was SoaR now taking #1 spot. And they may still hold on to that, but it's up to LG to 2-0 Eager. And Eager, well, if they 2-0, they can potentially sneak that 3rd spot away from Denial now.
LG, Denial, and SoaR all switched up their mid-jungle combo. They just kind of swapped them all between, and they all look better. LG,
that doesn't happen often.
I'm really, and I am more surprised about LG than anything. I think SoaR's playing at the level we expected. I think Denial playing at pretty close, right? They're doing much better than they did last split. We expected them to do, but LG, I thought they would be good, but probably have to take a little bit of time to work out the kinks before the land stage. Instead, in the online portions, very close to #1.
Well, first of all, let's go back to SoaR, who have taken #1 for the time being, and we can tune in and speak to andinster from the jungle. Andy, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up?
Not too bad. I'm not too bad. How are you?
Doing good.
Good.
After
So
those games.
You take the 2-0 here up against Denial. That second game, though, I mean, didn't get off to a great start, did you guys?
Yeah, it started a little slow, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what it was, but for some reason I felt like in control the entire game, despite the gold.
Yeah, so what was your plan? What were you trying to do, despite you guys were down about 2,004 kills? What was going through your mind that you felt like you had control still?
I don't know what it was, like if it was the comp or I never really fell behind too far in XP. I think even for a while I was ahead in XP of Homie somehow. So I don't know. I felt like if ever they like overstepped, I was able to punish them. So
well, talk to me about game 1, because that one was a little bit different. You guys gave up a lot of pressure, I think, in the dual lane, but instead you were focused more on Benji over in the right hand side. Was that the plan? Was to kind of like let Metyankey get farmed for a little bit?
Not exactly, but I think yeah, just the timing worked out that we were able to invade speed with Homie on the other side of the map, and then we were able to snowball it and just continually got like basically all the farm on the map. So
all right, we're gonna talk to you a little bit about, I think, the team change, because you played with Barracuda and Jeff Hinla for almost your whole career, going from, I mean, despite that little instance with, Dignitas a long time ago, you've been playing with Vicious and Delicious, Cog Prime, into Cloud9, and then into LG at the beginning of the split, but you've made a pretty massive change. What's the difference?
I don't know. Everything's a little bit different. I feel like on LG, I was in control a little bit more than I am now.
Okay.
But I don't know. Everybody just kind of like plays their part more on this team, I guess.
Well, my follow-up question off that then, Andy, as well, is just to add, like, you've been to Worlds twice, 2 years back-to-back. This could potentially be your 3rd year. Do you reckon this team feels stronger to you than your previous experiences at Worlds? Do they have more potential?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Do you think they're stronger right now, or do you think you'll just be stronger by the time it comes?
I think right now we're stronger, but I also think we have a ton to work on.
Okay.
So.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the victory today. Hopefully you hold that spot, but LG still have to play. Any shout-outs you want to give, Andy, before we let you go?
Shout-outs to everyone on my team, and shout-outs to SoaR, and shout-outs to all the fans.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks so much for joining us, Andy. Congratulations on your win today. 2-0 there for SoaR up against Denial. Very interesting game where Denial kind of potentially held that 2nd place.
Denial's still looking really good, though. Obviously, a top contender here. Come land stages, this is not going to be easy for anyone, because LAN also, we see massive switch-ups in not only player style, but player skill set. Some players just do better on LAN.
That's very true indeed. And andinster was one of those that didn't have the best of times, but we'll see if he's changed things up this time around at the LAN. However, we do have a sale going on right now at the moment, which is the autumn sale, or the fall autumn sales, of 50% off all Chinese skins and voice packs.
Pretty easy there. You gotta get the Hebrew though.
Just buy it.
It's really about the Hebrew, man.
Is it? I mean, the Oz one's got. I download some Wukong is.
I haven't heard the Chang'an one yet. I'm actually gonna go home and listen to that one. I think I've been told it's pretty good.
I don't want to know about you listening to skins in your spare time.
I'm gonna play the god.
You better be. I know his
Best
type.
Chang'an.
Only that, we also have World's tickets on sale. hi-rezexpo.com. Head over there, get your tickets now. Buy them soon because they will sell out. I guarantee you.
I mean, we sold out the last 2 years. We're going to sell out this one as well. hi-rez Expo just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Obviously, we're going to have Paladins. We're going to have console there. And some other fun stuff. We like to add more and more each time we come out to Atlanta. We'll stay in Atlanta.
Well, with that, we're going to cut to a break now because we've got one more matchup to bring you. LG versus Eager. The winner. Well, LG, if they win this, they will be the #1 seed from North America. Or will it be SoaR? Find out after the break.
time comes, be ready, don't you hesitate. There's nobody left in the world who could ever shake my faith. Hold